What's up guys, today on this video I am going to show you how to permanently mod your PS Vita using Enso. And currently this OG PS Vita is using Henkaku H-Encore, which is a soft mod because every time the system reboots, or if you power it off and power it on again, you have to go onto H-Encore and then run the exploit to get it soft modded. What Enso does is it permanently mods your PS Vita, so if you restart or turn it off and on, it will enable the mod automatically. And you can also run a few things like Adrenaline, which is a PSP emulator, and you can run PS1 games on that. And there's also some limitations with this soft mod right here. Some games I can't play. Some backups won't work, but with Enso everything should work, and you should be able to use Adrenaline and other plugins that you won't be able to use using this soft mod. So this current version I have with this PS Vita is version 3.73, which is the latest version. It doesn't matter which firmware you're on. But we do need to roll back to 360, I believe. But all of these PS Vita firmwares are capable of hacking or soft modding and then putting a permanent hack. Just as a disclaimer, I am using the PS Vita 1000, the original, with the proprietary charging port. For this hack you do need to have a memory card, official PlayStation memory card. Doesn't matter which size as long as you have one, because then you can put the files onto this Vita and then start doing the mod. With the PS Vita Slim you don't need the memory card. Same with PS TV, you can do the same thing with the PS TV. And with the PS TV you can actually transfer files through FTP. But that's for another tutorial. And also you do need a cable to connect to your PC. Alright, just to show you my firmware, this has already been updated to the latest firmware, which is 3.73. so if you are on 3.65 you need to just update it to the latest version. If you're already on 3.60, then this tutorial probably be not so useful. Alright, so let's get to modding then. I'm going to switch to my PC and then show you which files that we need to start setting this up. Alright, so we are on our computer now, and first thing we want to do is we want to check our file options. So just put on the search bar File Explorer Options, it will come up. Click on that, then click on View, and make sure your options are similar to what I have here. So hide empty drives is unclicked, hide extensions for known types, make sure that's unticked. This is the important one, hide protected operating system files. Make sure that is unticked, and then apply. Right, so I've already made a folder for all of these files. I'll put a link in the description for all the files that you need, and they're all just compiled, and I've just created a folder called PS Vita Enso files. First thing you want is the actual Enso VPK, and like most of, well, if not all of the PS Vita program files, they are all VPKs, so just click on Enso VPK and then it should just automatically download for you. Next up we need Final H-Encore version 1.92. Make sure it's this version because this is the only version that supports the official PS Vita version 3.73. So click on that and download that as well. And then we need Modoru, and this is an important thing. You need to make sure that it's version 2.1 because again, just like Final H-Encore, this one supports version 3.73. With the wrong version, you can potentially brick your PS Vita, so just make sure you are following these links, and like I said, I will put a link in the description of all these links. So yeah, make sure you've downloaded Modoru version 2.1. Alright, so next we need to download this 0 syscall 6. These two files here, and what these does is this enables kind of spoofing the PS Vita. So if you're on like 3.65, it will spoof its firmware to the latest firmware, so you can play any of the newer games that came out for the PS Vita. And if your firmware is not compatible, this will not update it, but it will pretend that it's updated to the latest version, so you can play your Vita games. So we want these two, and then you want to go on to the PS Vita firmwares. So we want to download the official PS Vita version 3.60. So we want to scroll down to complete official firmwares, and then we want to click on next here. Click next until you find 3.60. Just click on that, it will give you a mega link, and then download. Right, the next step is optional, but it depends if you've already done the Henkaku, or if you've already transferred files between your PS Vita. Then your PC should have the Vita drivers, and this is essentially what this is. It's the drivers, so your PC and PS Vita can communicate with each other. So if you don't have it, then just click on Windows Installer here, and then just install the drivers so your Vita can connect to your PC. So I already have QCMA installed, so I don't need to do this step. Now, with all your downloaded files, put them into one folder, and I'm going to extract the final HE in its own folder, and then the official firmwares, extract them. You can use WinRAR or 7-zip to do this, and now you can just open this, right click, run as administrator, click yes, and now this program is waiting for my PS Vita. So now once Final H-Encore is loaded, we just need to prepare our Vita. So back onto the PS Vita, I have my proprietary cable here, so I'm just going to connect it up. If you have the Slim, then you can just use a micro USB, that's totally fine. And then I'm going to click on Content Manager. And then click on Copy Content. Right, so this is what you should see on your PS Vita. If it looks like this, then we can just go on to back to our PC and start Final H-Encore. If you get this Windows Defender firewall was blocked, just click on Private Networks and allow access. Right, so with the PS Vita still plugged in, you can see that it's connected to the PS Vita, and then what we want to do is click on Trim H-Encore to 7 megabytes, and then click Let's Go. So it's going to inject a bunch of files onto your Vita, and we want to make sure not to close out on this program once this is done. Right, so there is some instructions here. So we need to go back to our PS Vita and launch Content Manager, and then transfer the H-Encore to your PS Vita. We are going to click on PS Vita Systems, and then Applications, PS Vita, and there is our H-Encore. I'm going to just highlight that and then click on Copy, and then let us do its thing. And H-Encore, there should be a icon that comes up onto your home screen. Right, so H-Encore has now been installed or put into our PS Vita. We'll just press back, go back to your home screen, and then you should see an H-Encore icon. Click on that, press start, and then you cannot earn trophies, just click yes. Now we have our bootstrap menu. We want to click on install Henkaku and then download Vita Shell. I've already got Vita Shell on here, so I don't need to do that. So we just exit off here, and then next click on Vita Shell. Now we need to connect to USB, so we hit select, and that brings up our USB connection. Alternatively, you can press start and then change the select button to FTP, where you can use FileZilla or WinSCP to transfer files remotely instead of having to connect via the proprietary, or in this case proprietary cable. So we want to connect to USB. Alright, so with our PS Vita connected up with Vita Shell, it should bring up your root folder of your PS Vita, but if all of this doesn't come up, then make sure you just go on to the folder options at the top here where it says view, and click on, you want to check hidden items, and this is where it brings up the entirety of your Vita folders. If you unclick it, this is the only things that are going to pop up. Like I said, some of these folders may not appear on yours because this isn't a fresh install of Henkaku, but in this case we want to just click hidden items, make sure it looks somewhat similar to this, and then we want to transfer our Modoru file. So Modoru VPK, I want to just copy that, and then you can paste this at the root, or the root's probably the most easiest place. So we're just going to paste this here, and then we need to head back and install this on our PS Vita. So let's locate where this file went. It should be under UX0, and then scroll all the way down, and there it is, Modoru.vpk. Click X, and then we want to install this package. X again. Or do I want to continue? Yes, I do. So let it install. So Modoru should be installed now, so let's just go back to our home screen. There it is. Click on it, start, and now this tells you the current firmware that I have, and then the stock firmware when this PS Vita was released. So this was an OG Vita 1000, and I can go all the way back to version 1.06 if I want to, but yeah, this just tells you your firmware data, and this, once you open this actually copies some files onto your Vita. So what we can do then, we can install the stock firmware and go back to version 3.60. So let's just exit off this, go to Vita Shell, and we want to connect via USB just again, and then now press select. So let's head over to our PC again. Alright, so once your PS Vita is plugged in again, you should see a folder called app, and there we have Modoru has made a folder in its app. Click on that. This is where we're going to put our official firmware here. So go back to your files that you downloaded, and we're looking for the PSVita official firmware complete zip folder. So right click and then unzip that if you haven't already. Double click it again, and then the file, the zip that we need is this one here, the PSVita official firmware 3.60 zip. We don't want the pre or the system data, we just want this one. So again, extract files, and then I think this will have another one. No, this is the folder, or this is the pup file that we need to install or downgrade our PSVita. So just copy that and then paste it into the Modoru root folder. Alright, once this is complete, we can now head back to our PSVita and continue to downgrade the firmware. We're back onto the Vita, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to restart the Vita itself. There's a few apps open. This could cause some problems while trying to downgrade or put Enso in. So just to be sure, power off your device. Once it's rebooted, we want to go straight to H-Encore again. Start. Do the same method, let it flash. And now we can exit. Go straight to Modoru. Click start. And then you can see where it says, do you want to downgrade from firmware 3.73 to firmware 3.60? And that's what we want to do. And just click X to confirm. So the software will make permanent modifications to your Vita. What you want to not do is turn off the device or mess around with it. You just want to keep it as it is until it's successfully downgraded. So let's accept. So just let it do its thing, come back to it when it's finished. Alright, so our system should have been downgraded now. We can check this by going into the settings. System, and then system information, and as you can see here, we are down to 3.60, which is exactly what we wanted. Alright, so I'm just going to delete H-Encore for now. I'm going to keep Vita shell there. So I've heard if you delete that, you have to sideload Vita shell, which can be quite troublesome to have to sideload Vita shell again. Alright, so because we are not on the latest version, if we connect to our PC, it's going to prompt you to update all the time, which can be quite annoying. To solve that issue, we just need to change the primary DNS on our Wi-Fi settings. So go on to your network and then Wi-Fi settings, and then obviously connect to your internet, and then click advanced settings, and DNS settings, click manual, and then for our primary DNS, type in 212.47.229.76. So that is the number that you need to input for our DNS, and then we can just click OK. Alright, so at this point we just want to restart our Vita now. Alright, so it's now rebooted. We can now click on Content Manager. Mine's already plugged in, but we want to copy content. Alright, so it didn't connect there. I'm just going to load up Final Encore again on as administrator on my PC. I'm going to try this again. If not, then I'm going to have to just reboot the Vita again. So Content Manager, copy content. and this screen comes up again. So we want to head back to our PC and run Final H-Encore again. Alright, so we have our Final H-Encore connected to our PS Vita and showing at 3.60. We can click on trim H-Encore to 7 megabytes and then click let's go. And that seemed to have done it in one go. If you get a failed to unpack error that comes up here, then you just have to restart your PS Vita and then go through the content manager and then copy content again. Right, so making sure that the Final H-Encore program is still on the PC, we're going to click on PC to PS Vita system, applications, PS Vita, and then we want to install the H-Encore. You can see that is blue and not red this time. So this should be this, the same version as your firmware. So just copy that, and then we're going to open the H-Encore. Alright, so we have H-Encore here already installed. So click on it and then press start. This might just back out straight away. If it does that, then we have to hold down the right trigger and then press start. Keep holding it down until you see this menu here. So just like before, we want to install Hinkaku and then download Vita shell. It says failed. Alright, so even though it failed, I think it's still okay because I didn't delete the Vita shell before, so we don't have to sideload it again. We can just we can just click on Vita shell and it should just load up. So we're pretty much almost done with this tutorial here. There's a lot of steps to this, but we are almost there. So from here we just want to press select and connect to our USB, and then we're going to go back onto our PC to transfer the Enso file again. Back onto our PC now. With the folder that you created, select these two files. You want to copy those. And we want to copy and paste these onto our TIE folder here. So this is one of the hidden folders. Double click that and then paste that in there. Copy that onto the root of your PS Vita. So once those files have been transferred, we can then go back onto our Vita and then install them. Right, so let's locate our Enso file. So UX0, it should be the root of this. I'm going to click X and I want to install this package. Now let's check if it's on our home screen. This hasn't properly installed it yet, it's just put the files onto our home screen. So click on Enso and the font is super small, but it says this software will make permanent modifications to your Vita. If anything goes wrong, there is no recovery. So make sure you have enough battery on your Vita before you do this. Press circle to accept these terms. Okay, it's failed to load it, so let me just run H-Encore again. And then load up Enso. Alright, so I just had to put Enso back in, but this time this is the 3.60 version, not the 6.5 version, so I just had to correct that. Hopefully it should be okay. Yeah, so make sure the Enso VPK is the version that supports your firmware. So it's looking like we can install it. It says cross to install, so let's install the hack. Now it says press any key to reboot. Okay, so once you reboot your PS Vita system, the Sony logo will not come up, but it comes up with the Enso logo. And just to double check, we have successfully put our permanent custom firmware. We just want to go on to settings, system, and there we go. There is our 3.60 custom firmware with Enso installed. So with this installed, like I said, I am able to use Adrenaline and play PSP games and PS1 and some PS2, I believe, and I don't have to keep going on to Henkaku or H-Encore and then having to keep softmodding it every time I reboot my Vita. Another bonus is I can use SD to Vita card adapter, so I can put my own SD card in and switch out the proprietary PS Vita cards, because those cards are really expensive still. Well, if you want to get the highest gigabyte, at the moment I've got like a 64 gigabyte official PS Vita card, and that was quite a lot of money for what it is. Now there's a big debate on which custom firmware to go on to, whether it's 3.60 or 3.65. They're pretty much the same. 3.60 does almost everything, and it's a bit more safe proof, less errors that may occur. So that is the benefits of sticking to 3.60. So yeah, if you have any questions, then please comment down below. I will try to get back to you. I hope this tutorial has been useful for you guys, and I hope you enjoy your new custom firmware PS Vita. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you again on another video.